Today I'm making a festive meal of this beautiful halibut. We're gonna make halibut puttanesca, which I love because the sauce has a ton of flavor, but it also highlights the fresh flavor of the fish. So I'm gonna set this aside for now. So we're gonna get started on the puttanesca sauce, and we're gonna start by using anchovies, not surprise. We're gonna use a whole 2-ounce tin. Just gonna pat them dry, not gonna rinse away the flavor. Just give them a good pat. Now, as a kid, I would eat anchovies as an after-school snack. I loved their flavors, especially the ones that are coiled up around the capers. I would just drain them and eat them one after the other on a cracker. I know I was a weird kid, but there's something about that flavor that just gets me. So we're gonna chop these anchovies up. At the end of the day, you'll have about a tablespoon and a half of chopped anchovy, and that's what you want. This dish has an unapologetic, bright flavor with the anchovies. We're also gonna add some capers and a bunch of Kalamata olives. All right, here I have a shallot that I chopped up. Gonna add the anchovies right to the bowl with the shallots because they're going into the pan at the same time. Now time for the garlic. 5 garlic cloves, gonna slice them nice and thin. There's a big discussion whether you slice your garlic lengthwise, crosswise. Lengthwise, I think looks pretty. You get the nice sort of almond shaped slices, but crosswise I think is easier, and I like more evenly sliced garlic, so I do it crosswise. All right, into the bowl with the anchovies and the shallots. Now we're gonna add some dried oregano, 2 teaspoons of dried oregano, and a little bit of heat, some pepper flakes, about half a teaspoon of pepper flakes. All right, and that's all the prep we need to do for the puttanesca sauce. Here's 1/4 cup of capers that I did rinse and 1/2 cup of Kalamata olives. All right, so over at the stove, here I have 1/4 cup of good olive oil. I'm gonna put it in a nonstick pan, medium-low heat. Now we're gonna add all those flavorful aromatics. We're just gonna cook this for about 4 minutes or so. The shallot and garlic will start to soften and the kitchen will get very fragrant. All right, so while this cooks, let's talk about the halibut. So here I have some beautiful halibut. And this is because we live in Boston, we have access to great fish. And in fact, when we visit my parents, my husband Ian sold fish for a long time down on the Boston Fish Pier. And as a treat, we would bring them some of this incredibly fresh fish, which is harder to get when you're inland. So this really is, in my mind, a celebratory dinner because this halibut, as you can tell, is gorgeous. So these are halibut fillets. They're about 6-7 ounces each. And we're just gonna season them with a little salt and pepper because they do not need any embellishment. You also want to notice that they're nice and thick. That's because they came from the center part of fillet, which is the best part, the captain's cut. So just a little salt and pepper is all they need. It's been about 4 minutes. It's very nice and fragrant. The shallot is softened, so it's time to add the rest of our puttanesca ingredients. So that's some Kalamata olives, about 1/2 cup. Some capers that I rinsed, about 1/4 cup. Last, we're gonna add a can of tomatoes. That's a 14.5 ounce can of diced tomatoes, adding the tomatoes and the juice. All right, now we're gonna add the halibut. All right, so we're just gonna nestle this gorgeous halibut right into the sauce while we're bringing the sauce to a simmer. Oh, beautiful. Make sure the sauce is all around the halibut. Not gonna put it on top of the halibut. Gonna really sort of braise the halibut. That means the level of the liquid is about halfway, 3/4 of the way up the sides of the fish. Gonna bring it to a simmer. Now we're gonna put it in the oven, 375-degree oven. Halibut takes about 15 minutes. You know it's done when it registers 135 degrees. Ho, 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 ho. Smells amazing. Always be careful of the hot handle of a skillet coming out of the oven. It'll get you one of these days. Again, when taking the temperature of something like this, what you wanna do is you wanna poke the thermometer in, you wanna look for the lowest reading temperature. So now I'm all the way down into the sauce, that's why it's reading so high. Then slowly pull it out, and that's the actual temperature of the internal of the fish. Center of this piece, right on the money, 135, perfect. All right, next up, put this gorgeous halibut on the platter. Oh, ho, ho. To get fish this fresh is just such a treat. A little sauce on the fish. I won't put all the sauce on the platter. I'll leave some on the side in case people want a little extra on their plate. I'm gonna put some parsley leaves over the fish, have that mix in with the puttanesca sauce. Last but not least, a little olive oil. Just a little bit. And I like serving with lemon wedges. Again, this is kind of a rustic platter, so adding them right to the plate so you can just drop this on the center of the table. I just think this looks so beautiful. There you have it, a beautiful rustic supper of perfectly cooked halibut and that vibrant Puttanesca sauce. Make myself a nice portion, a little more sauce on top. This halibut, you can see it is perfectly cooked. I mean, oh, it's really only on a special occasion you can get fish this fresh. The texture of it's amazing because it's simmered in that sauce. Thanks for watching. What'd you think? Leave a comment below and let me know what you're excited to cook this week. You can get today's recipes and more for free at our website.